cropped up during the COVID narrative, begging fans to wear masks as she'll probably never sing again if she contracts coronavirus. Do you know, I think we'll get by. Then another ill-fated Fleetwood Mac guitarist, Jeremy Spencer. Let's find out about him. An original member, he exhibited something of a schizophrenic personality during his time with the band. Off stage, he was a quiet, studious Christian, frequently found reading the Bible, yet in performances seemed to take on an entirely different persona as a wild and flamboyant entertainer. We find this often, it's cropped up in my research. Performers talk of when they get up on stage or when they switch into performance mode, it's as if something takes them over. It's as if they become animated. It's as if they're channeling some kind of outside entity. Beyonce has talked about this. She's got an alter ego called Sasha Fierce, or she did several years ago. And in interviews, she said, oh, Sasha Fierce is nothing like me. You know, I'm quiet and shy, but she does all the things that I never could. She's the other side of me. So we've got elements possibly of mind control coming in here, trauma-based mind control and multiple personalities. But this idea of entertainers becoming animated when they get up on stage is no rare thing. More on Jeremy Spencer. He walked out of the group after an earthquake hit Los Angeles, predicting something bad would happen to the group. He was next heard of as a member of a sex cult called Children of God. The organisation plagued with claims of pedophilia, later renamed itself the Family International, and Spencer reportedly is still associated, writing and illustrating stories. One more ill-fated Fleetwood Mac guitarist, Danny Kirwan, who died fairly recently. Here's his obituary, and he is linked to that Munich 1970 incident alongside Peter Green. I'm going to hear some audio, hopefully, about that very shortly. And that whole story of Peter Green and Danny Kirwan having to leave the group after an event where they supposedly, according to the official version, did too much LSD. That's what we're told. They fried their brains on LSD and they became unpredictable and no longer able to function. It puts me in mind of the story we get of the original frontman and the singer-songwriter behind Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett. This is him. So Syd Barrett only lasted a very short time in Pink Floyd. He had to be kicked out in 1967, replaced by Dave Gilmour, and we're told that Syd had done too much LSD. But I suspect the truth may lie more within the realms of trauma-based mind control programming. His father was involved in this kind of research, connected to Cambridge University, which is a centre for psychological manipulation and psyops of the type that we've seen over the past couple of years. That's the story of Syd Barrett, very similar to what seems to have happened to Peter Green and Danny. And this is a short excerpt from a BBC, of all people, documentary concerning that infamous 1970 Munich incident. This is the remaining members of Fleetwood Mac talking briefly about it. Let's see if this works.
To promote their third album, the band embarked on a major European tour. When they reached Munich, Peter was greeted by some unexpected fans.
Certainly John McVie would fully blame an event in Germany where Peter took some more drugs and for sure never really came back from that, to our recollection. And John is to this day absolutely furious with these people. We call them a German jet set. And they captured Peter completely and pulled him away.
We got to Munich airport. All of a sudden these people showed up. I don't know if it was 2 or 3. But I remember the 2 of them specifically, a very beautiful girl, having like model actress looking, dressed in this black velvet. Whoa. And this guy next to her, and he looked like a John Lennon. He had his wire-rimmed glasses and a cape. And they met Pete right there. It looked like he'd been arranged somehow, and it was kind of unspoken. I thought, well, maybe Mick and them know something about these people. They didn't acknowledge any of the rest of us.
Maybe Mick and them know something about these people. I suspect they did, and I suspect there's an element of whitewashing going on with that story. But that, in a nutshell, is the ill-fated account of the history of Fleetwood Mac. And all those elements are far from unique to that particular group. They crop up in the story of so many others.